we saw was a tranny. True story.
I believe it.
All right, they're rolling
Did you sleep with her?
No.
on the sidewalk right then and there.
We gawped pretty hard. True story.
Yeah, and then all of a
Really?
sudden it was like, oh.
Were you guys together?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, the thing was, I didn't realize it because as we walked past, she'd stopped to basically pretend that she found this elementary school interesting. Like she's looking at it. She liked being checked out.
Yeah.
Which also should have been a sign because like women in San Francisco will try to shame you for that.
Right.
So she was stopping so we could check her out. And we, Freddie went one side, I went the other. But I kind of went on the front side. So when we completed that, Freddie's like, yo, that's a dude. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, see the Adam's apple? And I'm like, no, man, I was checking out the rack. It was like fucking double D's. So yeah, I didn't see. The face was irrelevant, right? Like, just in general.
What about
Still
when
by
her,
far the hottest.
the thing in her skirt that went.
She was actually wearing a short skirt. That
wearing
should
a
have
short
been.
skirt.
That
It's
should have
like
been
the
an
crying
indication.
games.
spot.
Very, very toned legs. No boner sticking up through the skirt. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like
God,
I don't
what kind of
You're like, I didn't.
What kind of a total bigot are you that you think that's how
that's
that?
not
Let's
how,
begin right there.
That's not how these things work. It's not like as a guy you walk around like hard all the time. So
What I know about the two of you. All right, welcome to ZFG. I'm Krista, and joining me today is Freddy and Carson. What's going on, guys?
yeah, I don't know. I can't top that.
So it's what? It's close to 2:00 here, and you're just joining us. Here you are.
Our audience?
No, you. Where have you been?
No, it's not. I mean, it was a rough night. Like I did not sleep well last night. So
Was it cold?
Was it the chill in the air?
No. All right. Okay. So I got to tell you something about like being a middle-aged man. All right.
Okay, this seems
No.
kind of serious.
No,
Hold on.
you won't know this. You don't know this because you're not middle-aged.
Correct.
You don't know this
'Cause I'm not a
because you're
man.
not middle-aged. You're old age, and you're not a man. But so here's the thing: it's like this confluence of issues when you're trying to sleep. As a man who's middle-aged. Okay, got to get up most nights in the middle of the night to take a piss.
When does
okay?
that start? Like around what age?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't really remember.
Okay.
But gotta take a piss, like 3, 4 in the morning most nights. That's one thing. Now, the other thing is, 47, like, my dick still works, and it works very well. But, the caveat is, I'm just not nearly as into sex as I used to be. So here's the problem. I wake up, because I have to go to the bathroom. But I'm hard. So I can't go because I've been dreaming about something, but it's not sexual. And so the thing is, I'm sitting there trying to wait it out. Like, please go down so I can go to the bathroom. Please go down so I can go to the bathroom. God damn it. Please. And it took so long. And so again, like when I was younger and had this, have a similar issue, it wasn't hard to think of something that I was really into, right? And I just go and like take care of it, and then I could go to the bathroom. But now it's like it takes so much effort to like so much mental energy to get like into something sexual that's going to make it so I can then go.
Oh, so wait,
and
you
go
want
to
to
the
think
bathroom.
of something sexual? You're not trying to think like of something boring to kill it. You're trying to think of something sexual.
First,
to
I
release
tried
it.
to think of the boring. No, first
Because I know something for something boring.
No. First, I tried to think of the boring stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
Like, and I'm like lying. I'm like lying there. And
dude, Axler just dropped a new short today. Get through that.
Sorry, if I just thought about like that guy with all the sauce on his face, maybe that would have worked. I mean, okay, like, but instead I decided to go to like the second most depraved thing I could probably think of. So I don't know, like ate some with fucking midgets and zoo animals and shit. And anyway,
let me correct you there.
And then
little people.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, so basically, like I had to use so much mental energy to come up with something that would work. I then go and take my piss, get back to bed, and I'm like, I am totally wide awake.
Oh, is that why you were emailing so early?
That's why I was emailing so early, because I'm still fucking awake because it took that much mental energy.
I thought you were in like beast mode, like Elon style. So I got to tell you, it was MLK Day on Monday, And I basically asked everyone to come into the office because, like, firstly, I can't really work out the holidays here still. Like, is it a holiday? Do you work? Are things closed? Are they open? Like, it's really confusing. It genuinely, I think, depends on, like, the state and whether it's a bond market holiday, whether it's an equity market holiday. So everyone came in. Obviously, I came in later because, like, you know, that's a really sad state. No, my parents were here, so I had a legit excuse. But I was like, dude, Carson is fucking on it. Like, look at this. Like, he's probably doing, like, David Goggins double day workouts and then, like...
Oh, because I was even... Yeah, no, it was probably just because I was... Like, I had to try so hard to be able to, like, go to the bathroom, basically, that I was still awake.
Man, menopause over here.
Dude, you know what I'm imagining?
Menopause.
It's menopause.
He wakes up, he's still stoned from the night before. It's too hard to think of something that's going to arouse him. So he's like, fuck it, I'll do a workout. And there he is on the elliptical with a raging boner, just like...
That would be... You know what? That might be less effort.
Wow.
Honestly, that might be less effort. I'll try that next time. First, I'll try to think of Axler with sauce on his face.
Yep.
Not my sauce. Just, you know, like the mini sauces that he spills on his shirts. And then if that doesn't work, yeah, I'll go to the elliptical.
Nice.
Thanks for that. That's good.
I mean, did you rest at all today?
So you went back to sleep?
Yeah.
No,
I would like to-
I didn't. Not till way later. I mean, not till, I don't know, but it was just like I.
Because then you were up. I saw emails at 5:30. Like I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean,
he's either
Like,
doing massive drugs or
no,
no.
actually, wasn't
I
even.
know that.
Actually, the thing is, when I do get high before I go to sleep,
Yeah.
this is less of a problem. It's when I don't get high before I go to sleep that this is a problem, that I can't, like, turn my brain off right away. So that's, you know.
And you don't have that problem, do you?
A brain? No. I do not. Thank you, Krista.
Just clearing everything up here.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I'm glad you're joining us, and let's go right into the topics.
No pregnant pauses. We said that. We were going to professionalize this show. No pregnant pauses.
Did I do a pause?
Keep going.
Let's go into this. No, just you.
I mean,
You got to memorize the shit before the show,
I know.
man. We got to be on.
I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry. So, SEC Twitter account compromised. This was your item.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It's
So-
everybody's item.
So our regulator, the Securities Exchange Commission, you know, when I saw that actually on the thing, it reminds me of like when Ali G in the film was like the nuh and it just made the whole thing sound so lame instead of the NHS, like the National Health Service. And there's a part of me that really wants to be the
Look,
because-
Elon has
Yes.
redefined it, so
He has.
which, you know, by the way, like might help him get back to sleep in the middle of the night.
True.
He's a little older than I am.
Is he? Wait, is he like a little over
Is
50
it early
maybe?
50s?
Yeah, he's several years older than I am.
Dude, I just found out the
Several-
other day,
I think he's 52, 53. Yeah,
Michael
that's
Dell?
you know, 5,
Right.
6.
Michael Dell is only 58. That guy is a
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
animal.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let me
like
see what he looks like.
Michael Dell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Does he look like?
So I read his book, Play It Nice But Win. It's really good stuff with like him and Carl Icahn. I'm just like, fuck me, this guy is like really good at everything. It's a bit sickening.
He's got a really nice house on Lake Austin.
Yeah,
It's a sick place.
yeah.
It's got its own football field, actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, with goalpost and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
58.
Yeah,
Oh my God, he has the same middle name as you. Saul.
he does.
Yes.
Whoa.
Wow, and that is actually the only thing we have in common.
Yes.
Long lost cousin.
Yeah.
And he's originally from Houston.
I thought he was from Austin.
Austin.
Oh, it says Houston here, but I don't know.
Dude, correct Wikipedia.
I'm not gonna. Okay. Anyway, go
All
ahead.
right, we don't want to get into Neri Oxford territory. So the SEC's Twitter account was compromised, and what's funny about this is we often rag, and I think just the other week,
We had the last
We
ZFG.
do?
Well, I mean, you were here, but you know,
I wasn't really
that doesn't
here.
mean anything.
That doesn't mean anything.
But yeah, the last CFG, I talked about the SEC knowing nothing about cybersecurity, but pretending that it does. Although, to be fair, this was probably more of a Twitter cybersecurity issue. But
so this headline flashes across: SEC has approved Bitcoin ETF, which
it was a tweet that went out.
So I'm saying on Bloomberg it flashes across the screen that somewhere that SEC's approved Bitcoin ETF, which is ironic that the money that was going to decentralize the whole of finance needs to sit in an ETF on an exchange regulated by all the people that they were trying to get not to regulate them. That's an aside. And so for a lot of people, they thought it was going to be a very big, exciting thing for kind of Bitcoin. And then it turned out that this was in fact not true. And I think maybe a few days later, they did actually approve the ETF with the Bitcoin in. But it turns out like maybe 3-4 hours later, they just came out and said,
It was the next day.
It was the next day?
It was the next day. Well, first they came out and said, oh no, don't believe this tweet. Our Twitter's been hacked. So,
yeah, that's right.
And then the next day it's like, oh yeah, but we approved the Bitcoin ETF. So the real question is, was it just Twitter that was hacked, or were your actual emails and computer systems hacked? Which nobody's asking that question. But here on Zeros, we ask the hard questions. What? Yeah, like that.
We're asking the hard questions to each other, which doesn't really matter.
Right.
But we ask them.
Well,
Just saying.
I mean, a lot of these questions aren't really that hard. You understand that, right?
No.
Like that wasn't a hard question.
Well.
But okay, so since we're on the topic of our beleaguered regulator, I found out something recently that also goes to like a pet peeve of mine that I've discussed or ranted about on the show. And so you know how it's like, I find it really asinine that we can't say the F word, right? Like can't say fund, the muddy waters, blah, 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 strategy, our strategy. Don't say the fucking F word, right? We've been admonished many times, nor may we discuss returns in any of our F words. And we even had t-shirts made up that have the name of one of our F words along with, for the taking the piss, along with actual returns. And we wore that on one of the shows, and then our GC threw the flag, and
it's one of my favorite t-shirts.
Right.
I mean, he almost had a mild seizure.
Well, then I was like, hey, listen, this is political protest, this is bullshit, and we called up our First Amendment counsel, and the guy was like, no, actually, it's probably not going to be protected by the First Amendment. Even though you're doing it for political purposes, there's an element of commercial speech. So yeah, you probably would be violating the rule if you don't blur it out. And so I said, well, even if I wear it to the goddamn gym, is that violating the law? And he said, well, the prohibition against general solicitation. And he thought about it and said, well, technically, yeah. So I did wear it to the gym that afternoon. So that's the extent of how Martin Luther King I got on this. But anyway, but here's the thing. So can't say the F word, can't discuss our returns. But here's the thing I just found out very recently. So if we have investors that are government agencies, like say, like government pension plans or state universities, well, they are pretty much all covered by some form of Freedom of Information Act. So that means that basically anybody can write them and say, we want to know who you're invested in, and they would get the names of the funds and they would get the returns.
Oh, really? So
it's like, against that backdrop, this is so fucking stupid that we can't say the name of our, whatever, plus the F word and returns, but you can just get this shit through a Freedom of Information Act, from, various universities and state governments.
Speaking of returns,
or retardation.
Early December, we gave out Monster Alpha.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
And we're making an appeal, and like it wasn't hundreds, but it was enough Monster Alpha given
This was
out.
our first successful political protest on the
Yes.
show. This is the first one that got through the censors, was to have Monster Alpha and talk about how only we have it,
Yes.
and if you want it, you need to come to us. So yes.
Since we gave it away,
We would like those back.
we
we
need it
really
back.
fucking
We
need
need
that
them
back. So Chris, they'll scroll the address along here,
Yeah.
and
We'll pay
I
for
wish
Monster.
we were
We'll pay
kidding,
for Monster
but-
Alpha.
yeah, we'll pay for shipping at the very least.
At the very least.
Yeah.
Get a percentage of our incentive.
Yeah.
We'll pay for Monster Alpha.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, the other item I would like to talk about is something that we discussed last time on ZFG, which was the big bunny at
SFO.
SFO.
Let's go a little bit further here. We didn't discuss it. I said that, and his name is Alex. He's a giant Flemish, and I explained that. Oh yeah.
Hey. You could say nicer things than that about the cute rabbit.
So I explained that he was in fact a support rabbit, and you two like, no, that's
Yeah, we did.
ridiculous.
We challenged you. We
Yeah.
challenged you because I've never heard of such a thing.
Right, and a guest actually wrote in to me on Bloomberg. Not a guest, sorry,
guest
someone who watches
or-
who watches amongst the many.
A fan.
Not a fan, a friend. And lo and behold, it turns out that young Alex is. And then I also realized my wife had taken this, and we have this in our kitchen. And yeah, this is Alex, the assisted therapy animal.
So what's really interesting to me about what you just said is that
Which part?
well, I'm about to explain this. This show, we just got it underway. We haven't been filming it for that long this time. And you've already talked about Bloomberg twice. Mm-hmm. I think you are feeling really insecure about the return since the Monster Alpha went away,
Are
dude. I mean,
you?
you're really throwing that whole Bloomberg thing down on the table like you got some shit to prove.
I fucking hate losing money. I fucking hate losing money.
I mean,
Who
like you
likes
got
losing
some.
money.
some people are
Nobody
okay with
nobody looks at you and says, "This guy doesn't seem like he has a Bloomberg." It's okay, bro. Like you don't have to keep throwing that out there.
Fair. I've
And
also
now the
got,
shoes.
I've also got
shoes are
real-time
different,
pricing
yes.
on Yahoo if any of you are interested. Whatevs.
It actually is a much better UI than fucking Bloomberg.
It
That's the
truthfully
reality.
is.
It is.
It
It
really
is.
is.
And if you need to just hit refresh.
I'll do that stupid B unit thing. Like the least friendly way to log into anything ever is to like hold up something to a screen that you've had to like 9 times like stroke your finger on. Like it's fucking.
Yeah.
How can't they do something that's slightly less retarded?
Well,
than
I mean, then the whole thing is like when you lose it, we'll send you a new one, but we're gonna. And like it's
Yeah.
been so long since I've had to order one because I just never use it at all, but except on my phone. But yeah, they charge you over $100 for it. I mean, like in all seriousness, I keep saying I want to start terminating the Bloomberg contracts as they come up because they auto renew. You get them
So
for
do
2
you know
years
what you
and then they
should do
auto
for your
renew.
B unit? You
So
could
how
have
do you do that?
Krista.
We have two.
No, we've got more than 2. Fucking.
You could have Krista wear it on a chain, like a dog tag. So then, like, if she's around,
Why
like, pop your
would you even say that? Because he'd probably seriously
such a good
fucking
idea.
entertain
No,
it.
that'd mean I'd have to like spend more time around you.
Ugh, please.
So let's-
He would love it.
That's the real reason I stayed home today. No, man, we have more than 2. Like
No,
I assure
I
you.
know, like
It's
5, 6. What do we?
No, we have 3.
No, because we've got.
1, 2, 3.
I think we have at least 4. Oh, we did terminate one of them.
Yeah.
So, because back office has 1 or 2.
0.
No. They have a Bloomberg. They do,
They do?
for pricing. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I thought they get it from.
No.
Wow.
So no, like
I
it's
mean,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah. No,
who's
it's,
running the show here?
and honestly,
I know.
like fuck those guys. Like I hate that.
Back office? That's kind of harsh.
You know what? Fuck them. No, and then fuck Bloomberg, obviously.
Clearly. All right, so we don't know 2 or 5, whatever. We have.
It's money,
It's just.
and we don't do it as a pass through either. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, huge
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah, if you're watching this and thinking of setting up your own fund, we decided that we would have I guess I can't talk about our
can't talk.
fee
Whoa,
structure.
that's going to be beeped.
But
And you use the F word. Oh, yes.
fee.
No,
Pretty
you
much.
use
Pretty
the word
much.
fund.
I probably can't use like any F word except fuck, really, because fee structure is probably
Fundamentals. No one's allowed to use that word anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, or at least they act that way. But in any event, I would recommend you come in with a lower management fee and just do pass-throughs. Don't say, hey, we have a premium management fee, but we don't do pass-throughs. It's a clean management fee because, it ends up working out worse that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And also on that, if you're thinking of becoming a short seller, don't become like the, I don't know, bottom quartile
I don't
performing.
know. Well, if you got a bunch of like Monsters Alpha from us,
True.
you might be okay.
Yeah, you will still be poorer than the bottom quartile performing private equity guys.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so moving forward, fun and games in Ecuador. The new president declared a 60-day state of emergency to combat the rise of narco gangs. This was you.
Yeah, so Ecuador, I find Ecuador interesting just because
Why do you find Ecuador interesting?
So I don't even know if I can say that we occasionally invest in resources, okay? But what's interesting about resources is there are like jurisdictions that people generally think are safe, like Australia or Canada or...
Safe in terms of your money is safe or you won't get killed safe?
Safe in terms of it's unlikely that the government will wake up one day and just change all the rules. It doesn't mean it's necessarily easy to permit, but you don't have that like, oh shit, it doesn't exist anymore.
So there's Argentina on one end and then Australia on the other.
You know, Argentina's actually not too bad. And I got to tell you, I saw a picture this week of the CEO of a mining company, and he was with Milei. And the CEO of the mining company is wearing a suit, and Milei is rocking this badass crocodile jacket, and the hair is like always like totally fucking like I've just come out of an orgy, and I'm like, I really like that guy.
I saw somebody giving him credit for taking on Twitter, taking commercial to Davos. He was on the Lufthansa flight, and I'm like, yeah, bro. I mean, if they had a PJ, it would fucking be seized. Like, this isn't him being man of the people. This is, I don't want to lose.
This is like he knows Paul Singer might be there as well.
Like, I don't want to lose like a $60 million asset, to Paul Singer.
Yeah, but
or even worse, Burford.
Yeah, so Ecuador is like one of these places that like from time to time people are like, oh, it's okay. And this week, I think there was some gang leader who was like busted out of jail, and the country has just gone to shit. And on the national television channels,
because this guy busted out of jail, or
Yeah,
that's like a
and, like,
symptom. So that's the cause, not the symptom.
right?
Just because this guy gets out
That's
of
the cause.
is this like in
Shit.
This is like in Ghostbusters when the guy pulls the lever and all the
similar,
things come out.
very similar.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, you did see this, right? You're not that
Of course.
old,
No, I'm not that
right?
old.
It kind of, you were in college when it came out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Community.
No.
Okay,
She was a drama major. She
oh,
went
yeah.
to a real school.
that's true. That's true. After finishing school. Anyway, and so
about that
they
next.
went and took over a local news, actually no, I think it was like a national news station, and they're just like, cool, like we run shit now. And I think as the world's moved past the whole like MBS being like a bad guy, killing journalists, I think this is kind of just the next level where people are taking it to. They're not like killing journalists quietly in an embassy. They're going live and they're like, we are going to start whacking journalists who don't give us proper coverage. So I think Ecuador is at the leading edge of progressive journalism, the same way that football hooligans in the UK are at the leading edge of defending humanity. So,
Okay.
Ecuador.
I love Ecuador.
Have you been?
No, but I have a lot of friends from Quito.
From where?
Quito,
Quito.
Where's Quito?
capital.
Oh,
Wow.
shows what I know.
Where's keto?
Huh. I
like
thought that was a diet.
No, that's keto.
Yeah, I mean, probably the Ecuadorian diet is the exact opposite of the keto diet, to be honest. But
Oh God, I keep on doing these pauses. Now I'm noticing
pregnant
everything.
pauses.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like for ZFG, I'm gonna need a script.
God intended you to be pregnant because you're a woman.
Chop chop.
Okay. Anyway, gang raped in the Metaverse.
We did this story like
No.
a year ago.
No,
New
I
gang
know, but
rape.
this is a new.
Gang rape. No, that
He
was.
obviously
I don't.
did
Was that a
not-
gang rape?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a gang rape.
Yeah, like
Okay.
the female researchers was complaining that, like avatars of
I-
men were coming
Difference
around.
is.
I
Difference
find
is
this
time.
extremely
Sorry.
entertaining.
Difference is this time.
It was super entertaining the first time around.
It-
so,
Yeah.
It wasn't investigated by the British police. The British police are investigating the sexual assault of the girl, identified only as being under the age
I
of
hope they're-
16. So it's also going to be, you're going to actually get thrown in prison for being a fucking nonce. That is so unfortunate, okay? In what is said to be the first investigation of its kind in the UK. The girl was reportedly wearing a VR headset and playing an immersive game in the Metaverse when her avatar was attacked by several others. Was this really rape? Some have asked. The comments on an Instagram
answer is
post for a
no.
story about the case from the New York Post were characteristically skeptical. Similar question to you, Us. Couldn't she just have turned it off? Can we focus on real life crime? I was killed in Call of Duty, one person said. Been waiting for my
I was
killer
murdered in Call of
to be
Duty.
brought to justice.
That is awesome.
The difference, of course, according to the police, is that while Call of Duty players can expect to be virtually killed sometimes as part of the game, the girl
Not
had
when I play, motherfucker. I better win.
the girl had no reason to expect that she might be raped.
Except for the fact that it's happened to like every female avatar that's ever been in the metaverse.
It
I mean,
isn't
come
yet.
on.
It isn't yet
And
known.
it's usually men who are like behind the female
Chubby
avatars.
avatar.
But
It isn't yet known what game she was playing when the alleged assault occurred, but obviously there isn't an online game where the goal is for adult players to rape children. So,
This is ridiculous.
Jeffrey Epstein, if you haven't really been killed, there's a gap in the market.
maybe only his avatar was off.
Yeah.
In Call of
So,
Duty. They dropped his avatar into Call of Duty, and
yeah.
that is
killed.
there's just. I mean,
that's hilarious.
because the problem is, like. Okay.
There's a lot of
like,
problems
Like,
with
I
this.
mean,
There's a lot of holes.
Like, there are a lot of times. I mean, when I used to have this discussion, a long time ago, say 3 years ago, it's like, well, you guys in a bar, girls in a bar, the assumption is she's 21 plus, and then it turns out she's not. Like, how culpable is the guy? But, this one, it's like, I mean, the vast majority of female avatars in the metaverse have got to be dudes.
Right.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably
think
do
about
this and they love that shit. Like, oh, gang rape me, like, and and then like, and then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you can argue, that maybe you can tell that in real life, like a girl looks 16 versus 21. How the fuck do you tell with an avatar? Like, I mean, what skin features are visible on an avatar that would distinguish a 21-year-old or an 18-year-old from a 16-year-old? I mean, this is
Adam's apple.
at the end of the day. I mean, let's just admit that these social
is
media
fucking
companies are
ridiculous.
fucking evil.
They really
and
are.
They're all evil. We're not
shouldn't-
the evil ones. They are.
No, and like if you give your kids
Yeah.
this shit, all right, I mean it's going to fuck them up. Like I mean, it's funny, like, or I should say it's interesting because, my son is barely double digits. Just the past few months, the conversation, and he goes to school that's like just really mostly like future nerds and dorks, right? Okay, so they are not up on the latest shit by any means. And just, I mean, I'd say the last 2 months, it's, the questions. Like, so it started
Like
with,
what?
what does gyat mean? Huh?
What does what
Oh,
mean?
this oh, like, so-and-so's been saying stick out your gat for the Rizzler. Like, I mean, it sounds like somebody saying stick your ass out for, look it up. And it's like, gat is, like word for ass. And the Rizzler is somebody with charisma. And so this was like a big meme. And then it goes to like...
We're learning as well at the same time, it seems.
But it's like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, what would that mean? Like, stick your ass out for, someone with charisma. And I'm, like, how do I explain this? And then,
Please
like...
tell me you didn't twerk for him. That would be truly shocking.
Of course he did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the whitest of white fucking dudes on the dance
Stop
floor,
it.
man. I'm not twerking shit.
I thought you were a twerker.
No, I would.
Like,
I would
actually,
do.
when I met you, I was like,
would
this
do
guy
better
twerks.
than Robin Thicke did. If like like Miley Cyrus came and backed that ass up, I
course
wouldn't
he
stand there
would.
like, like I would. Like I know what to do with that. Robin Thicke, I guess not.
So much.
But yeah, like
Listen to these
I mean,
idiots.
just the speed of the stuff that he's now hearing, and I mean, it's it's like basically what's jizz? I'm like,
Oh, Jesus.
it's just no, like just we're just not going to discuss that. Why not? No. So yeah, it's like really picking up, and I mean, this is young, and this is all. I mean, fuck. Imagine if
I'm
you gave
surprised
these
you won't
kids like
tell 'em
this
what
the
that is.
VR. Not at his. He doesn't
Krista,
need.
no, dude, I know why she asked that question. I'll tell you what it is after the show.
Please.
Don't worry.
Thank you.
I got you. Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
Yeah, I mean, did you want me to explain it? Is that the?
No, but we have a son at home, and I'm like, God, I
mean, once like this is
There's stuff
this is
already
this
happening,
age,
and I'm like,
and that's the
oh my
thing,
God.
like when they get shit like this, because there's actually one kid in his class, one kid who has an iPhone, and like,
really?
and it's annoying. It's like when your kid is the only kid in the class with a phone, and they give that kid a debit card also. It's like, yeah, and it's
I would
causing.
like to ask
and
about
that's-
his parents, not
and that-
here.
No, and it's
10?
and it's like causing problems too, because like, that girl is friends with this other girl, and we know the parents of the other girl, and the other girl is just like has frozen her mother out for a couple months because they won't get her an iPhone, and it's just
What
like,
do you mean frozen her mother out?
like so my son even told me that, oh, so-and-so, isn't talking to her mother, hasn't been talking to her mother for a long time because she won't get an iPhone. We hear it from the mother. Yeah, like she's just, it's just, she won't talk to me. And when she does, it's just nasty because we won't get her an iPhone. And it's just like, man, yeah, so all this stuff, fucking Metaverse, you're fucking, like, don't get it for your kids. Like, don't get your daughter the VR helmet or whatever it is, because, I mean, she's going to get gang raped in the fucking Metaverse. And it's not real rape, but it's still, like she doesn't need to see like virtual dudes coming at her. It's just no good comes of this, like bottom line.
So I'm just curious what the parents who have gotten the kid the iPhone, what their thing is.
I don't know, man. Like,
do you know that? What's the reasoning there?
I don't, and I really don't know, and I don't believe in, like judging other parents for the most part.
I was just curious.
But this is one where it's like, okay, this isn't
But it
like
does
just about
start
like
a
you
whole
and
thing.
your kid. This is about like other kids in the school. And so now, I mean, like my wife and I had to say to our kid, we're just like, I'm going to tell you straight up why, her parents won't get her the iPhone, because it's bad fucking parenting. All right. Like we want to let you know now, the reason we're not going to get you something like that anytime soon is it's bad parenting, like full stop. And I don't really want, I don't want to have to speak like that to my kid about, one of their classmates or friends' parents. But in this case, it's like, what else do you what else do you want us to do? It's just, it's such a disruptive goddamn thing to give. Again, when your kid is like the only one, or if there may be two, it would still be, you're the outliers. Like, why the fuck are you doing this?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're going to confiscate your iPhone, Krista, now that I think about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably a better thing.
No,
God,
actually,
it's
no,
even
actually,
again.
no.
What?
No. Well, that actually, that's a story I did want to bring up, because that kind of relates to, You had a roid rage episode on me last week.
Yes.
Yeah, you had this roid rage
First of
episode.
all, can I just tell you something? That he told you about it. I mean, I swear
He
to
was
God,
scared.
I have to tell you something. Viewers, if you didn't know this, besides working with two douchebags, there are such women in terms of like, I can't tell something confidentially
That's
to
not
one
true.
guy
That's
Wait, when
without the other one
Wait a second.
running to his little like
Krista,
even you, we're talking.
When you're screaming at me at the top
I
of
have
your
to
lungs
scream.
in the office,
Because
that-
he's nutty.
that you're not telling anybody anything in confidence. No.
First of all, it was just the two of us at 7:30 in the morning, like in the office. Come on.
7:30. It wasn't that early.
Yes, it was.
It's not like I had
Yes,
to
it
jerk
was.
off or something. I wasn't.
I don't know
that
what
early.
he was doing. But I'm like, he's not going to be a douche and really mention it on ZFG. Like I'm like, well, he's not. I'm like, he's not.
But
gonna
it, but
do
it
that.
involves your
I
iPhone. It like
actually
flowed into it.
know-
Well, we don't have to get into it.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
Like,
you're gonna tell the
I'm
story.
thinking of my.
Okay.
No,
You're
what
gonna tell the story then?
No, I don't. Actually, I don't remember.
I never told him that you made a move on me. Okay, that stays. Oops, shit. Okay, well that wasn't my fault.
I've never made a move on anybody.
Untrue. You did stare at me for the first 4
Well,
months of.
You were about to hit me last week.
Okay,
That kind of move.
that actually
is true.
is true, but of course I wouldn't physically touch anybody. First of all,
You were
number
about
one,
to.
I need a job. Second of all, I need a job.
Yeah, but the
Third
roid.
of all,
but the roids don't know that.
the roid didn't. Whatever. He provokes. Whatever.
no,
Whatever.
fuck that. That did not
And-
provoke.
And back to what he just said, I was staring at him when I first joined because I think you
months?
told me you had.
No, I told
were-
you I was a little older than I
had-
was.
I remember telling my friends, I think I work with someone who has dwarfism. And they told me, I don't think that's politically, I'm like, well,
But that doesn't
whatever.
mean it doesn't exist.
I'm telling you.
I hate that kind
I know,
of reaction.
I'm not friends with them anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I work with the guy who's supposed to be like the head trader, but he has little hands and he's like a little man, but he has like a bigger head and I didn't know where to look.
I told you I was 47,
So
right?
why'd you look at his cock?
Yeah.
Because I needed to see if that matched
really
up
wanted to see.
with the head. Because everything was like, I was like, this is fucked up. And I'm like, Krista, don't judge him just because he's
It's
little.
funny because I got to tell you, minute you walked in, I judged you.
Well, usually everybody does, but I try not to do that. You're a very big judger. You judge constantly.
Well, it's because I have to make hiring decisions. Is that okay?
Hiring.
In that case, maybe you're not so good at judging.
I mean, he was good when he hired me, but the rest is questionable.
Right.
Anyway.
There have been some questionable ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. He keeps on saying, keep on going.
So you don't want to talk about the roids?
What is there to say about that, though?
I mean, that's some real shit.
No, there's not a say. It's like,
That's some real shit.
what is it? So obviously you want to say something, say it. Just be free and say
No,
it.
so we just have like a public service announcement about don't give your kids devices, don't let your daughters get VR helmets.
Yes.
Like honestly, if you're prescribed a corticosteroid,
Okay. So for my
be
viewers
careful.
who don't know this,
that will alter your mood.
I had a yellow
Jacket.
jacket bit me, or I don't know what
It was bad.
about a week ago, right? I didn't do anything for it, whatever. The next day it bit me on my hand and my entire arms. I went to emergency care twice. P.S. I'm allergic really badly, whatever. So they put me on
Prednisone.
prednisone.
Prednisone. Not prednisone. Prednisone.
I thought I said it correctly. Prednisone. And something else. And Carson knew about this drug because what? You took it?
No,
So you lied.
No, I hadn't taken prednisone. It was a different
You
corticosteroid.
lied.
No, but I came
You
in that morning.
lied.
I came in that morning, and your phone had been off the night before, and I was trying to call you at 9:30 p.m. to like handle some scheduling thing. You sent me an email when I'm walking into the office about how, and basically the scheduling, was screwed up. And I walked over to him like, hey, like, I'm not, like this is not the way it's supposed to be. And I was trying to call you last night, and you went from 0 to 100. You just like banged your hands on the desk, and you're like, you treat me like total shit. You treat me like shit. And I would take a fucking bullet for you.
I would.
And you're like a brother to me. And this is how you treat me. And I'm like, holy.
You would?
Can I just tell you something? Half of that is actually true. That's why it's not a good combination.
Yeah, but you're just not supposed to say those things. Like,
no, I say what I feel.
I'm supposed to be able to treat you like shit, and you don't say that. So,
by the way, I just want to put it out there. If anyone is watching a little trigger happy, she'll take a bullet for me, and I know that because I'm going to move her in front of me. So she'll take a bullet for me too.
I wouldn't do that for you because of a couple of reasons.
Oh, interesting. All right, keep going.
Well, kidding.
But anyway, so this
moral of the story is what?
So I'm like,
Krista's crazy. Don't fucking hire her.
I was this really, so I was puzzling. I was puzzling over this for a few minutes after the exchange, and it took a while because we're screaming at each other. And
he wasn't puzzling over it.
No, after we finished screaming at each other, and then I was like,
I'll tell you the real truth.
Then I was like, oh shit, she's on prednisone. And I was like, that, because I remember when I was on a corticosteroid, maybe a year and change ago, like it had me amped. Like I was like, my temper would just flare. And then I remembered when Trump got out of Walter Reed, and after they'd put him on dexamethasone for COVID.
He's like,
and I mean, and like Trump was like batshit for a while. And then, after it came out.
Like Trump, you're batshit. I'm like,
after it came out that he'd been on dexamethasone, then of course, like, got their doctors on, TV saying like, oh yes, like that's a very powerful steroid and that definitely alters mood, and that might explain blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so anyway, it was the prednisone talking. I treat you very well, and you should realize that. And you need to tell me that. You need to acknowledge how well I treat you.
I cannot lie. Anyway, Pinocchio, we're going to end now because there's nothing else. But next week we're going to have, or in 2 weeks.
We're still on every other week, Kate.
Every other week. We're going to have a really juicy, wonderful ZFG.
As always.
As always. And we're going to put, Freddy on some drug and see what the fuck happens.
I'm temperamental at the best of times anyway, so.
I mean, half the times I'm like, is this guy still alive? Does he have a pulse? What's happening? So, anyway, cheers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God. Well, you've become very boring.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.